Greetings, everyone. On behalf of the citizens for DeAndre Tillman, I would like to thank you and welcome you to today's discussion. I'd like to thank DeAndre for joining us and sharing a little bit about himself. So, DeAndre, first of all, congratulations on your Democratic primary election victory.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know you have a bunch of family. You're from Calumet City, friends, supporters that are really rooting for you. Just kind of tell us a little bit about what it means, being from Cal City and getting to this point.
It means a lot to me. Like you said, I grew up out there. I went to the public school systems out there. A lot of the parents still know me. They remember me. I go greet them. They give me hugs and say, "I remember you from your track days at Thornwood. I'm proud of you." So it means a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're a fairly young guy. How old are you?
I'm 30 years old, and I get that a lot. However, I would say since the start of this campaign, I've grown about 3 gray hairs. So, I don't know if that counts for anything.
No, it definitely does. So tell us a little bit, why politics?
Well, I was in the background of politics from a young age. In 1998, my mother ran for the school board, and I was helping with her campaign. She was on the school board for 16 years, and then my father switched places with her. He's currently on the school board. Then I went to law school, and I took a lot of political classes. I actually wrote a paper on the politicalization of housing and gentrification in Chicago. So once I did that, I just invested, and I started going to city council meetings, and it's just a natural transition for me to just run for office.
Wow. Okay, now that's great. So, you've really invested some time at an early age. Your family has been involved in Calumet City and in politics. So, it definitely was a great transition for you. So, for those that don't know, you're running for 3rd Ward Alderman for Calumet City. Can you explain for our viewers what is an alderman, what is his role in politics, and why alderman for 3rd Ward?
Okay, so I get that question a lot. Apparently people don't know exactly what the alderman is or what alderman does. So alderman sits on the city council. In Calumet City we have 7 aldermen that sits under the mayor. We have voting abilities, so 4 will be the majority. Your alderman is the first person you call if you have any issues. If you have a crack in your sidewalk, if you need a handicap sign, if there's trash in your neighbor's lawn, anything, you call your alderman first. And the alderman is supposed to be the one that helps you find the resource needed to correct the issue.
So let's talk about some pressing issues. Now, I don't want to get specific, but what are some things when you think about Calumet City that need to be addressed?
Yeah, so just to give you the overview, you have crime issues, you have issues of education, you have economic developmental issues. Those are probably some of the big ones. But when you talk about any issue, it's important to separate it from perceived issues and actual issues. And I think it's important to tackle it from that perspective because, I'll explain. Perceived issues are how third parties, people outside of Calumet City, see the city and those issues. So if people see Calumet City as a crime-ridden place and they have a negative connotation, when they think of Calumet City, they're not going to want to move here. They're not going to want to bring their enjoyment here. They're not going to want to bring their businesses here.
Right.
So you must prioritize fixing your image, and then you have the actual issues, which I spoke on briefly.
Right. So kind of give us that overview. I know you're very involved in the community, in your campaign. I know you're doing a lot of door-to-door issues, and I know something that you shared with us that was the issue was property taxes. So can you speak on property taxes and just your overall thoughts on it?
Yes. So when it comes to property taxes, Calumet City property taxes are high compared to the relative value of the properties. It's not proportional at all. But as an alderman, I think it's important to disseminate the information to residents so that they understand how property taxes work before you do anything. Calumet City is a taxing body. The school board is a taxing body. Thornton Township is a taxing body. They all can affect your property taxes separate and apart from each other. I actually commend the mayor. Calumet City has not raised their portion of property taxes in the last 5 years. However, the school board has every year. So when you talk about property taxes, we actually need to work with the school board to see how we can come up with ways to give them resources, because it's important that the kids get this funding, but we must think of other ways to get these kids the resources they need without consistently raising the property taxes.
Well, it's good that that's on your mind, and that's something that you want to address right away. Now let's talk about crime. That's a big topic, not only in Chicago, but in Calumet City. What's your thoughts on it, and how do you just plan on addressing it?
Yeah, so crime is an issue across the nation, even at this point. But in Calumet City specifically, currently, I know the current mayor is hiring new police officers, just patrolling the streets, and that's one way to attack the problem, but I think that's not getting to the underlying issue. The underlying issue with crime revolves around education, job placement, business development, the economy. So when you want to talk about crime, it's actually a long-term fix that we have to do. We have to get businesses to Calumet City. We have to get our residents employed. We have to get to kids at a young age from their youth and make them trust police. I'll give you a quick story. There's a young man that lives up the street from me. When he was a young boy, he used to tell me, I want to grow up and be a police officer. Now that he's an adult, he tells me the exact opposite. Not only do he not want to be a police officer, he doesn't even want to call the police if he has an issue. Right? There's a divide between police and our youth that we must bridge, and I think we must address that aggressively if we're going to solve the issues of crime.
Right. So we have the election coming up shortly for the general election, April 4th. There's a couple of days you're about 2 weeks before that time comes. What's on your agenda? What do you plan on doing?
So right now we're just canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on doors, talking to as many people as we can, just to get my message out there, to let people know who I am. And that's all pretty much we're doing at this point.
Okay. And so let's talk about day one. You get in office day one. What's the first thing that you want to tackle?
Yeah, so as I said, the issues of crime, economic development, those just aren't things that are going to be solved on day one. However, I think bringing back the sense of community is important. On day one, I want to start a block club initiative. Every single block throughout my ward, I want to start a block club. I want to have people, residents, over those block clubs that will then report to me separately, so I can understand each block's issues. And also that'll bring the community together and bring back that sense of community. I'm actually the block club president on my block in Prairie, and we had a block club party this summer, and there were people out there who were neighbors for 10 years and never met each other. They didn't know each other's kids. And just bringing that together, I think, will solve a lot of issues. It really takes a village to raise a child. So, yeah.
Okay, so for the folks in Calumet City, people that want to volunteer, people that just want to generally reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
So if anybody's looking to contact me to either volunteer or have a conversation with me, they can email me or call me. My email address is citizensfordeandretillman@gmail.com, and the direct line is 708-730-4112.
Thank you, DeAndre, for taking out this time to address some concerns and doing this discussion. I would like to also thank Evergreen Legal Services for hosting this event, and we would like to see you at the ballots April 4th for the general election. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.